Hi and welcome to Morning Mayan. Today I'm going to talk about how to make a wish come true, or how to manifest your dream, or how to create what you would like in your life. It's another way of saying that. I tried to download a video. It didn't pick up very well. I taught this course for a long time, many years, at the Learning Annex and based off my book. I'd like to just freelance it and give it to you now, because in these times I'd like to give us all some hope and some bright times, and also remind us that we're very, very powerful and magical beings, and we are creating our life, and we are filled with the divine spirit. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, I'm assuming that a bunch of you that may be tuning into this have already had a basic knowledge about The Secret, or know about The Secret. When I was lecturing on my book and my information on the Mayans originally and frequency attunement, people would come to my lectures and say, have you ever heard of the Hicks or Abraham, which I never had. And then they would go on to tell me about their channelings and speaking about the law of affinity and the law of attraction, or what's been known now as The Secret. And I was just really happy that we were all channeling the same divine information. That made me feel like we were all on the same page. So after doing lots of lectures and working with people, you start to realize that taking the ideas that come with The Secret or the law of attraction and actually pulling them down into a reality that you can work with are two different things. So today I want to take you through some easy lessons on how to make your wishes come true. Okay, the number one thing that you have to do when you want to make a wish is make sure that you're in a high frequency. Now, I've talked about this in other lectures before, but basically, you know you're in a high frequency when you're really in a happy place, you feel very connected, when you're in nature, or when you're laughing is a really good time. So, since the number one thing to going to make a wish is that you want to send it out on the highest frequency possible, is that you want to get in the highest frequency possible to put that out. So, you can do that one of two ways. Either you can wait until you're in an authentically really good place. I can think about a time I was in Big Sur, and I was on this big swing, and I was swinging out over the trees and into like this beautiful valley overlooking the ocean, and I was just like so giddy and happy. And I thought to myself, this is Make-A-Wish time. This is Make-A-Wish time. So I say to you, if you find yourself in a really happy, ecstatic place, let that ring in your head right time. This is Make-A-Wish time, and take that time when you're in that high frequency to send out and use this information I'm about to give you. So, and then there's times when you don't want to sit around and wait for yourself to be in a high frequency or find that high frequency, and you want to stimulate that in yourself. So there's many ways to do that. Dancing, singing, going out in nature, I would say, is the number one way to reconnect yourself to high frequency. Sometimes getting in a bath and just getting calm and peaceful will put you in that place. But I found that one of the surefire ways of getting in a high frequency is to rent a comedy and watch the comedy. And when you're laughing, you're in a high frequency. So when you find yourself laughing during the movie, you can stop, excuse yourself, and go do this little wish exercise. Because when you're in that high frequency, that's when I want to send out the wishes. Because when you're in a low frequency and you go to send out something, what you're doing is you're also sending out your fears and your blocks and your worries. And that, by the very vibration of it, will not allow you to bring in that what you wish. So the number one thing is get in a high frequency. Okay, number two is really figure out what it is you want. And you know, most people think, oh, I want this. And when I'm in lectures with people, you know, I'll use this one girl for instance. You know, she's like, oh, there's this guy in the office, and I love him, and I want him to marry me. And I said, oh, okay, really? Okay, how much do you know about this guy? Well, she didn't know a whole lot about him. She'd never been out with him. She really didn't know anything about it, so she was attracted to him. So what I say is, because in the third dimension we manifest in a triangle, mind, body, spirit. Now you have to know that if you're in all agreement, you may have found this before with somebody you were dating, that maybe your body was really attracted to them, you had great sex, or you had this great intimacy, and maybe even your spirit was connected to them, and you felt like, you know, you had the same kind of passions in life and same drive and destiny, but somehow your minds weren't syncing up. Well, somewhere along the line, if not all three parts of you line up, mind, body, spirit, you're not going to make that happen in your life. So what I'm saying is, when you go to manifest something in your life, you need to realize that you're working with three parts of yourself, three little judges, if you will, of our own little congressional system and balancing act. But in our case, it's the mind, the body, and the spirit. And if you don't realize that they each have a voice, then you won't pay attention to what each one of them are saying. And the fact is, you won't manifest anything or pull it into the third dimension, because you need to use six-dimensional geometry to do that, unless you have a true connection. A triangle actually forms a solid geometry so it can manifest, okay? So what I said to this girl was, let's downscale your wish. You don't even know this guy. What is something, where's a first step? Where's a first step toward this wish that you want? And so she said, okay, I don't really know the guy. I'm attracted to him. I guess like him asking me out for coffee would be a really nice step for me to get to know him. So one of the really important things, besides getting in a high frequency, which was number one, the second thing is actually getting a workable wish and getting something that you can all deal with. You see, all three parts of her weren't ready to get married to this guy that she didn't know. It makes no logical sense. Even if her spirit and her body were like, let's go, her mind was like, I don't know this guy. So by scaling down the wish to something that was simple, like a date, a cup of coffee, she didn't get any blocks. Her mind's like, I can deal with a cup of coffee, getting to know somebody. That makes sense. Her spirit was already engaged, and obviously she was already physically attracted to him. So the second thing is, scale down your wish to something that you really feel comfortable with, and then build from there. Maybe you want to be the CEO of your company, but the truth is, you're not ready to skyrocket from the mailroom to CEO. Maybe you just want a promotion to start out with, and then build and go from there. So the second secret to creating and manifesting your wish is to scale down your wishes into steps that all of you are in agreement in, so you don't have any blocks. Because when you send something out on a high frequency, it's going to come in by the law of attraction. And because that's what happens in high frequency, things come to you. Unless you have a block, like I said, that'll come from the mind, body, or spirit. So if you block something, then it won't come in. And you think, I'm doing something wrong, or this doesn't work, or it's all baloney. Instead of realizing that you're blocking it and then going back and finding out where you're blocking it. So the best way I found in my lectures and working with people is to scale down your wish to something smaller so that all of you is in agreement with. Okay? Okay, now the third thing is you have to... once you get in the high frequency, once you know what the thing is that you're wishing for, you have to get in a place, and then you have to close your eyes. And now what I want you to do while you're closing your eyes is create a movie, like a little Hollywood movie of something coming true. We're going to use the girl in the office that wanted to date the guy. Now she wants a date from him, okay? So the example I would give her is this. In your mind's eye, while you're in the high frequency, laughing in the comedy, you run to the bathroom by yourself and say, okay, now what do you hear in your voice? What do you hear in your ears if this were true and coming true? Well, you might hear things like, hi, how you doing? How you been? I was thinking we might go get some coffee sometime. What do you think about that? And the dialogue that you might come back with, like, hey, yeah, that sounds good. Something that makes logical sense. And then I want you to see it. See it. What would it look like? Maybe you're standing by your desk. Maybe he's coming by with a donut and a cup of coffee. However it is, however you're seeing it, put that into the movie. Now here comes the most important part, in which they don't talk about enough in The Secret or other workings that I've seen, but which is the most important part to manifesting what you want. Because to send out frequency vibes, and that's what pulls in what you want, that's how we create things that we want, you have to do it through feeling. So in this way, you actually have to trick yourself. You have to go into this false confidence of believing as if it had already happened. So for a moment, while you're in this movie that you're making up, you have to believe it'll really happen. So first you hear the dialogue. Oh, the guy's saying this to me. Let's have a cup of coffee. I'm smiling. He's smiling. I'm feeling good. Then what is the feeling? That's the key part. Well, the feeling would be like, oh my God, I'm really excited about this. This guy really wanted to ask, me out. I'm really excited about getting to know him. And feel those feelings, Now here's the key. If you can get those feelings going, these fake feelings, mind you, right? you, for at least 16 seconds, you will be successful in sending out the frequency out into the universe to bring back that which you want. And one of the ways I found, because it's hard to fake, because you know you're faking, part of you inside is like, faker, faker, okay? But because we are creative beings, we just have to know that we have to work at this craft, and we're going to have some blocks that come up because we're used to thinking we're powerless. Like I tell people a lot of times, it's kind of like Samantha the witch from Bewitched. Like she was really good at it. She really believed things. She would just trickle her little nose and things would show up, right? But then she had that Aunt Agnes that never believed that she could create anything. She was always like, oh, I think I can, and she'd get half the donkey's ass or something, you know? And so it was always this disbelief, so she wasn't able to create. And then on the other hand, the most powerful witches in the group was Samantha's mother, and Dora. And she was just like, I want this. So be it, you know? And it's like a lot of that is very metaphorical, symbolic in what's happening when you go to create truly in this dimension, and using the secret and the law of frequency and the law of attraction. So now when you get into the feeling place, at a certain part you're going to be able to feel it. Oh, okay, I'm feeling good. Then you're going to start to feel like this is fake because you're human. And then one of the tricks I've learned after working with people to extend the feeling so you can feel it is I tell people to imagine, like, what if this really happened and you were to tell people that you care about, for instance, your mom or your best friend that has been, knowing that you like this guy, for instance, we're using this example. And so what I tell people is when you start, the feeling starts to fade, and you're realizing you can't hold it much longer, imagine then sharing a success story with somebody you care about and telling them, like, hey, that guy I really liked, he finally asked me out, it's really great. Or that job I wanted, they finally promoted me, it's really great. Because when you're sharing something, even imaginary, with somebody that you care about, that union, because they actually do love you, they're in like prayer with you. So then you're joining in union, and then you can actually re-invoke that feeling in you, and once you do, you again recreate the same frequencies and send them out with even more power. So that's a really great tool. And then so the final thing that you have to do in creating your wish and having it come true, your dream, if you will, is to let it go, is to say thank you and to let it go and trust that it will come in, and that it will be coming to you. And if you don't see it show up soon, then you can, when it feels appropriate, or when you're in another good place and it strikes you, I'm in a high frequency right now, send out that same vision, but not in a worrisome place or a fearful place. And so, this really works. I've seen it come back to people, come back to me over and over again and tell me the miracles that have occurred in their life after using this process. So I know it works, and I know it will work for you. And if you have any problems using it, feel free to write me, and I'll try my best to help you, coach you through it, because it is for everyone. It's for all us humans, and so it's not some elitist thing. We can all do it. And so I just want you to know that we're powerful, and it's part of our gift. And I just have one last thing to say. As part of our united effort to unite this planet and this world in a higher and better light and more peaceful and united world, I ask that when you do manifest your wishes, that you also include in your vision and your feelings people being happy and peaceful, and the planet being peaceful, and animals and plants and clean water and clean air. And so if we all manifest not only our personal wishes, whether it's the lottery or love or health for people we love, that we also, while we're doing that, help manifest the greater good of the planet and the planetary beings and plants and animals. And so anyway, I hope this really helps you all, and God bless you.